The third war for Armageddon is a scar upon the galaxy that will never truly heal. We know the names of the heroes who fought there: Commissar Yarrick, the Old Man of Hades; Reclusiarch Grimaldus, the hero of Helsreach; the Celestial Lions, who died for honor. But for every legend recorded in the annals of the ecclesiarchy, there are 1,000 stories that were simply consumed. They were swallowed by the ash wastes, buried under the rubble of hive cities, or drowned in the toxic sludge of the Hemlock River. The official history of the Defense of Helsreach speaks of a strategic withdrawal to the temple of the Emperor Ascendant. It speaks of the glorious last stand of the Black Templars, but it glosses over the cost. It does not mention the delaying actions. It does not mention the forlorn hopes, the small isolated units left behind to buy time with their lives. I have recovered a fragment from the data stacks of the 101st Armageddon Steel Legion. It is not a battle report. It is a Vox log from a single squad, trapped in a Hab-Block overlooking the Grendel's Lock dry docks. They were not space marines. They were not heroes of legend. They were men and women born in the ash, raised in the factories, and destined to die in the mud. Their possession, designated Hab-Block Delta, was marked on no strategic map. To the High Command, it was just another ruin. To the Orcs, it was just another obstacle. But for 36 days, it was a fortress. This record was not preserved for its strategic value. It was preserved because it captures something the Orcs could not kill, something the Administratum cannot quantify. It captures the moment when ordinary humans, faced with a tide of monsters, decided that if they were going to die, they would make the enemy pay for every single beat of their hearts. This is the story of the Steel Spire.
The air in Hab-Block Delta tastes of wet ash and burning oil. Even through the rebreather, you can taste it. It coats the back of your throat like a chemical film. It smells of the docks, that heavy, greasy stink of spilled promethium and ammoniac seawater that defines Helsreach. But now, there's a new smell. A pungent, musky reek that cuts through the industrial smog. The smell of fungus, the smell of sweat, the smell of them. We're on the 4th floor. This used to be a residential hab. The walls are peeling rockcrete, stained with decades of condensation and grime. Now, it's a kill box. We knocked out the windows hours ago, turning the balcony into a firing step. The floor is slick with spent shell casings and the dust that falls from the ceiling every time the artillery hits. I am the loader for Team 4. My partner, Jarris, is hunched over the missile launcher, sighting down the street. He hasn't spoken in an hour. He's just watching the debris fields, his finger tapping a rhythm on the trigger guard. Ammo check, he says. His voice is a tinny rasp in my Vox bead. 3 crack, 2 frag, I reply. It's not enough. It's never enough. I look around the room. It's crowded, not just with us. There are civilians here, dock workers, lifers, they call themselves. Men and women with skin like leather and lungs full of coal dust. They don't have flak armor. They wear oil-stained overalls and welding masks. They are armed with shotguns, heavy wrenches and industrial rivet guns. They are terrified. I can smell the fear on them, a sharp acidic tang that mixes with the ozone, but they aren't leaving. They are stacking crates of Amasec against the door. They are welding scrap metal over the vents. They are turning their homes into a tomb, and they are doing it with a grim, silent determination that makes me proud to be from Armageddon. And then there is the giant. He stands in the corner, in the shadows, a Black Templar, an initiate. I don't know his name, he hasn't told us. He was separated from his squad during the retreat from the crushed walls. He is a statue of black ceramite and holy wrath. He holds a bolter across his chest like a religious icon. He hasn't moved in 3 hours. He is watching the street just like Jarris. But Jarris is watching with fear. The Templar is watching with hunger. They are coming, the Templar says. His voice isn't like ours. It doesn't come through the Vox. It rumbles through the air, vibrating in my chest plate. I look out. The street below is a canyon of ruin. Twisted girders and shattered rockcrete block the road, a maze of debris. And then, the debris starts to move. It's a tide, a sea of green muscle and rusted metal flowing through the gaps. The roar hits us a second later, a physical wall of sound. Wah! It shakes the dust from the ceiling. It rattles the teeth in my skull. Targets, Jarris screams. Armor. I see them. Killer cans, ugly, clanking walkers made of scrap metal and hate, waddling through the rubble. Their exhaust pipes belch black smoke. Their saw blades spin with a shriek that cuts through the chanting. They are using the wrecks of civilian ground cars as cover, advancing behind the infantry screen. "Crack loaded!" I shout, slamming the missile into the tube. I slap Jarrus on the helmet. Firing! The launcher kicks. A streak of white smoke hisses out the window. Whoosh crack. The missile hits the top armor of the lead can, the weak point. The explosion is bright and sharp. The walker stumbles, its top turret blown clean off. It collapses into a heap of burning scrap. "Reload!" Jarrus screams. I'm already moving. My hands are shaking, but the drill takes over. Grab, twist, lock, slap. Up! Another shot, another explosion, but there are too many of them. Battle wagons are grinding over the debris now. Massive, rolling fortresses covered in spikes and shouting orcs. They are firing blindly at the building. Heavy shooter rounds chew up the rockcrete around the window, spraying us with stone chips. The lifer next to me, a big man with a pry bar, takes a round to the chest. He goes down without a sound, his chest a ruin. Another worker steps up, grabs the pry bar, and stands over him. They don't break. The Templar moves. He steps into the light. He raises his bolter. He doesn't fire wildly. He fires single rhythmic shots. Thud, thud, thud. Every shot hits an orc knob. Every shot explodes a head. He is methodical. He is an engine of death. Hold the line, his voice booms. No pity, no remorse, no fear. The chant galvanizes the room. The fear evaporates, replaced by a cold, hard anger. We are the Steel Legion. We are the Ash Waste survivors. We do not run from Xeno's filth. They're in the lobby. The Vox crackles. It's Sergeant Cole down on the ground floor. Breaching charges. Get back, get back. Static. The building shudders. A massive explosion rocks the foundation. The floor tilts beneath my feet. Dust billows up from the stairwell. They are inside. The vents, I shout to the lifers. Watch the vents. We knew this would happen. We planned for it. The Hab-Block is a honeycomb of ventilation ducts and maintenance shafts. The orcs are too big for them, but the Gretchen aren't. Sure enough, the grate in the ceiling rattles. A small green hand with dirty claws reaches through. "Vermin!" a woman screams. She blasts the grate with a shotgun. Green ichor rains down. Jarrus, traverse left. "Battle wagon!" I yell. "I can't. The angle's too steep." Or lean out. "I'll get shot." "You'll get dead if you don't." He leans out over the balcony railing. I hold onto his belt. He fires straight down. The backblast singes my eyebrows. The missile hits the battle wagon's open fighting top. A pillar of flame erupts from the vehicle. Orcs are thrown into the air like rag dolls. We cheer. For a second, we cheer. Then the wall behind us explodes. A rocket launcher round hits the side of the room. The blast throws me across the floor. I hit the wall hard. My vision swims. My ears are ringing. I taste blood in my rebreather. I look up. The wall is gone. A gaping hole looks out over the burning city. And climbing through the hole, hauling itself up on a grappling hook, is an orc. It is massive. A knob. Its skin is dark green, scarred and leathery. It wears a jawplate of iron. It has a power claw that hums with lethal energy. It roars, and the sound washes over me like a physical blow. It smells of rot and old blood. I fumble for my laser gun. It's gone, lost in the blast. The knob steps into the room. It raises the claw. It looks at me. Then a shadow falls over it. The Black Templar tackles the orc. He hits it like a runaway train. They crash to the floor, a tangle of black ceramite and green muscle. The Templar's bolter is gone. He has drawn a combat knife the size of a sword. He stabs the orc in the neck. The orc roars and clamps its claw onto the Templar's shoulder pad. Ceramite crunches. Sparks fly. I scramble backward. I find my laser gun. I check the charge. Half full. I aim, but I can't shoot. They are rolling too fast. "Shoot it!" Jarrus screams. He is buried under rubble, his leg trapped. The Templar rips his knife free and plunges it into the orc's eye. The beast spasms and goes limp. The Templar stands up. His pauldron is crushed. Oil leaks from his armor joints. He looks at me. "Conserve your ammunition, trooper," he growls. "This was merely the first wave." He walks to the hole in the wall and looks out. They are regrouping. Prepare. I crawl over to Jarrus. We dig him out. His leg is broken. He binds it with a strip of his coat. He doesn't complain. Steel Legion don't complain. I look at the ammo crate. One cracked missile left. I look at the lifers. 5 of them are dead. The rest are scavenging weapons from the fallen. I look out the window. The street is a carpet of green bodies. But behind them, more are coming. Thousands more. A green tide that stretches to the horizon. We are cut off. We are alone. We have 1 missile. I look at the Templar. "What do we do?" I ask. He turns. His helmet lenses glow red in the gloom. "We make them pay for every step," he says. "We become the anvil." I nod. I load the last missile. "Ready," I say. The missile leaves the tube with a scream that tears the air apart. It streaks down into the street, a comet of white phosphorus. It hits the lead battle wagon, not the armor, the fuel tank. The explosion is a second sun, a ball of rolling orange fire that consumes the street. I see bodies vaporize. I see metal twist and melt. For a heartbeat, the chanting stops. Then it returns, louder, angrier. Wah! It is not a battle cry anymore. It is a force of nature. It is the sound of a landslide made of meat and iron. They pour over the burning wreckage. They climb the walls of the Hab-Block like insects. "They are here," the Templar says. He does not shout. He does not scream. He speaks with the calm certainty of a grave. He steps onto the balcony. He stands in the open, a black silhouette against the fire. He revs his chainsword. The sound is a jagged mechanical growl. "Come and die," he roars. And they do. They swarm him, a knob with a buzzsaw arm, 5 boys with choppers. The Templar moves. He is a blur of black ceramite. He catches the buzzsaw on his pauldron. Sparks shower the balcony. He drives his combat knife into the knob's eye. He rips it out. He swings the chainsword. It shears through flesh and bone and iron. He kicks an orc off the ledge. It falls 40 stories, screaming. But there are too many. I see a chopper bury itself in his leg armor. I see a slugger round punch through his chest plate. He stumbles. He goes down to one knee, but he does not stop fighting. He is hacking at their legs. He is headbutting them. He is an anchor in the tide. He is buying us time. Time for what? To breathe, to reload, to pray? It doesn't matter. Time is the only currency we have left. "Get back!" I shout to the lifers. "Barricade the door!" They try. They drag the Amasec crates. They push the heavy metal desk, but the wall explodes again. Not a rocket this time, a killer con. It has climbed the rubble pile. It tears the wall open with a hydraulic claw. The roof collapses. Dust chokes the room. I cough up black slime. My rebreather is cracked. I can smell them now. The raw animal stink of them. The Khan steps into the room. Its single red eye glows in the dust. Its saw blade spins. "For Helsreach!" a docker screams. He charges the machine with a sledgehammer. It is brave. It is foolish. The saw blade catches him. It tears him in half. Red mist sprays the room. The other lifers scream. They fire their shotguns. The pellets ping off the Khan's armor like hail. I scramble for a crack grenade. I have one left. I pull the pin. I look at Jarrus. He is dead, a piece of shrapnel in his neck. His eyes are open, staring at the ceiling. I look at the Templar. He is gone, buried under a mound of green bodies on the balcony. But the mound is moving. He is still fighting. I stand up. My legs are numb. My arm is burning. I run at the Khan. It turns to me. It raises its claw. I slide. I slide under the reach of the claw. I slide between its piston legs. I jam the grenade into the knee joint. I roll away. Crump. The explosion blows the leg off. The machine topples. It crashes through the floor. It falls into the room below. I hear the orcs screaming downstairs. The floor tilts. The building is dying. The structural supports are gone. I crawl to the corner. I find my laser gun. The barrel is bent. The power pack is dead. It is a club now. The orcs are in the room. They pour through the hole the can made. They pour through the door. They are huge. Muscles like cables, teeth like daggers. They chop the lifers down. They smash the barricades. One of them sees me. He is a knob. He wears a helmet made from a Space Marine's pauldron. He has a power claw. He laughs. A wet, guttural sound. "Cue me," he grunts. "Squish." I stand up. I'm dizzy. The room is spinning. I hold the laser gun by the barrel. "Come on then," I whisper. He charges. I swing the stock. It hits his jaw. It breaks his tooth. He doesn't even flinch. He backhands me. The blow throws me against the wall. I hear my ribs crack. I taste blood. I slide down the wall. I can't move. My legs don't work. He stands over me. He raises the claw. I look past him. I see the balcony. The mound of bodies has stopped moving. The Templar is dead. But he took 20 of them with him. He built a wall of corpses. I look at the knob. I spit blood in his face. "Armageddon," I wheeze. He brings the claw down. Darkness.
The transmission cuts out there. The recorder was recovered weeks later by a salvage team from the Mechanicus, buried under 3 meters of rubble. The heat of the fire had fused the casing, preserving the data even as the building it chronicled was reduced to ash. In the official histories of the Third War for Armageddon, the defense of Hab-Block Delta is not even a footnote. It is not listed in the strategic disposition of the 101st Steel Legion. It is not recorded in the annals of the Black Templars. To the High Command, the loss of Hab-Block Delta was merely a tactical adjustment. A coordinate on the map turned from green to red. Why was this record lost? Why was the sacrifice of Trooper Gann and the nameless Templar allowed to fade into obscurity? Because in Helsreach, heroism was a common currency. During the siege, thousands of Hab-blocks were turned into fortresses. Tens of thousands of squads held their ground against the green tide. The sheer scale of the slaughter rendered individual acts of bravery statistically insignificant. The Departamento Munitorum does not track courage. It tracks ammunition expenditure and casualty ratios. The 101st Legion suffered catastrophic losses holding the industrial sprawl. Entire companies were wiped out to buy minutes for the evacuation of the docks. Hab-Block Delta was just one of 1,000 anvils upon which the hammer of the orcs fell. The tragedy is not that they died. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, death is inevitable. The tragedy is that their death changed nothing on the strategic map. The orcs took the docks, the city burned, the defense of Helsreach ultimately collapsed into a fighting retreat to the temple of the Emperor Ascendant. But here, in the archives, we do not measure victory by ground held. We measure it by the endurance of the soul. Trooper Gann and his squad possessed no gene seed. They had no power armor. They fought with las guns that bent and rebreathers that cracked. Yet when the ammunition ran dry and the walls fell, they did not break. They stood toe-to-toe with monsters that can rip a tank apart, and they spat in their faces. The steel spire was not the rock-cree tower they defended. It was the men themselves. They proved that the not one step back doctrine of the Steel Legion is not merely a tactical order enforced by commissars. It is a fundamental truth of the human spirit on Armageddon. They are a people forged in ash and fire, tempered by the knowledge that there is nowhere left to run. The galaxy is vast, dark, and eternal. The human soul is small, fragile, and temporary. But as the ghosts of Hab-Block Delta proved in the ruins of Helsreach, it refuses to break. Even when the las gun is empty, it still finds a way to fight. My report is concluded. The full dossier will be sealed under penalty of heresy. You may append your own approved commentary to the record below. The Ordo Chronos is ever watchful.